Everyone tells you to save your money, but they never really tell you the truth, do they? They don't tell you that the first part of the journey, it's not just hard. It's like playing a completely different game with a totally different set of rules. So let's just dive into this and really unpack why that first big savings goal feels next to impossible, and why hitting one very specific number changes absolutely everything.
Right. We've all heard this famous line from the investing legend Charlie Munger. For decades, this has been the gold standard. The giant, scary mountain that everyone's told they have to climb. And sure, it's supposed to be motivational, but let's be honest. For most of us, it just sounds intimidating.
I mean, seriously, in today's world, in this economy, telling someone who's just starting out to save $100,000, isn't that a little, delulu? It just feels completely disconnected from reality. It's a goal so huge it can actually make you feel paralyzed. Like, why even bother starting? So what if Munger's number isn't the right number anymore? What if the real turning point, the number that actually rewires your brain and sets you up for the future, is $20,000? Yeah, this is the new milestone. This is the first level you actually need to beat. And listen, this is so much more than just having some cash in the bank. Hitting $20,000 fundamentally changes how your brain operates. So think of it less like a financial goal and more like you're installing a powerful new operating system for your mind. It is literally a cognitive upgrade. Now, to really understand why this number is so powerful, we have to start with a little bit of brain science. Because that constant feeling of stress about money, that's not just a feeling. It is a measurable cognitive load that's slowing you down. Researchers actually have a name for this. They call it the bandwidth tax. It's simple. When you're constantly worried about making rent or paying the bills or affording groceries, that worry acts like a virus on a computer. It's just running in the background, 24/7, eating up all your mental RAM and making everything else run slower. And get this, the cost is staggering. Studies have actually shown this bandwidth tax can reduce your functional IQ by up to 13 points. To put that in perspective, that's the same cognitive hit as losing an entire night of sleep. It makes you worse at problem solving, worse at planning for the future, and worse at resisting impulses, all the skills you desperately need to get ahead with money. This is the real difference. It's like your brain has two modes. Without that financial safety net, you are stuck in survival mode. You're just reacting to things, only thinking about getting through today, making every decision based on fear. But with that $20,000 buffer, you unlock strategic mode. And suddenly, you can be proactive. You can plan for the long term. You can make moves based on opportunity, not on panic. So here's the absolute crucial point I want you to hear. If you've struggled to save money, it is not because you lack willpower. It is not because you are bad with money. It's because your brain has been hijacked by scarcity. You've been playing this whole game on the hardest difficulty setting with a massive cognitive penalty. That $20,000? That's what finally removes the penalty. Okay, so if getting to 20 grand is what clears the fog in our brain, how do we even think about the journey to get there? Well, let's try and reframe it. This isn't some boring chore, okay? This is an epic mission. Think of it like space travel. On this mission, you are a rocket sitting on the launch pad, but you're being held down by these incredibly powerful forces of financial gravity, right? This is your high-interest credit card debt, your rent, that slow, constant atmospheric drag of inflation, and all those stupid little late fees and penalties, the poverty tax, that keep you stuck on the ground. And your ability to save, that little bit of money you have left over at the end of the month, that's your rocket's thrust. In the beginning, it feels like you're burning an unbelievable amount of fuel just to inch your way upwards. I mean, every single dollar of thrust is fighting an equal dollar of gravity. It's a total grind. But that $20,000 mark, that is the moment you achieve escape velocity. It is the exact point where you finally break free from Earth's gravitational pull. A sudden car repair, an unexpected medical bill. Those things no longer have the power to pull your rocket crashing right back down to zero. You're in orbit. You've made it. And once you're in orbit, the physics of your financial universe change completely. You're no longer just fighting against gravity. Now you get to use it to your advantage. And this, my friends, is where the real magic begins. Just look at this data. Don't just look at the numbers. Look at the story they're telling. This is what happens when you save the same amount of money every single month. That first 20 grand is a total slog. But then something amazing starts to happen. each next chunk of $20,000 comes faster and faster and faster. Why? Because your money starts generating its own money through interest. It literally becomes your employee working for you 24/7. That initial launch takes 3 long years of pure brute force effort. It's like 90% your contributions and only a tiny 10% from any kind of growth. It feels slow because it is slow. And this is the exact spot where most people give up because they think the entire journey is going to feel this hard. But now look at this. The push from $80,000 to $100,000 takes less than half the time, just 16 months. And at this point, a massive 60% of that growth isn't even from you saving. It's from your money working for itself. You've hit the compounding slingshot, and now you are accelerating like crazy. And this acceleration is exactly why your first $20,000 is the most valuable, most powerful money you will ever save. It's also why spending it on something that loses value, like a brand new car, is the ultimate financial trap. That purchase doesn't just cost you 20 grand today, it costs you the hundreds of thousands of dollars that money could have become. Okay, so we get the science, we get the math, but how in the world do you actually build enough thrust to get off the ground in the first place? All right, let's talk strategy. Let's talk cheat codes. You have to increase your income velocity. And one of the fastest ways to do this is called skill stacking. Forget about trying to be the #1 best in the world at one single thing. Instead, become very good, like, say, top 25%, at 2 complementary skills. A good writer, who also understands SEO, is infinitely more valuable than a great writer who doesn't. You combine skills, and you create your own high-income role. Now, on the spending side of things, we've got to eliminate the shame around saving. So enter loud budgeting. This is a game changer. When your friends invite you out to some expensive dinner, you don't make up a lame excuse. You just say, "Oh, thank you, but I can't. I'm loud budgeting right now for my escape velocity fund." You turn your financial discipline into something to be proud of. And as we wrap this up, it is so critical to remember what this is all really for. The goal of that first $20,000 isn't to buy luxury stuff or just to feel rich. No, the goal is much, much bigger than that. It is about being free. It's what some people call FU money light. It's not enough to retire on a beach, no, but it is enough to give you sovereignty over your own life. It is the power to walk away from a terrible boss. It's the ability to say no to projects that drain your soul. And maybe most importantly, it's the freedom to finally get a good night's sleep because that bandwidth tax is finally gone. That freedom, that is the real prize here. The $20,000 is just the key that unlocks the door. So I want you to think about it. Once you're in orbit, once you're finally free from that constant pull of financial gravity, what's the first sovereign choice you're going to make for yourself?